Okay, good afternoon and welcome. My name is Michael Johnson. I'm the head coach of the RoboLancers. For this meeting, I'm going to ask that you keep your microphones muted. And at this point, we're also going to shift the chat over from someone is trying to join the meeting, but they didn't get an email after they filled out the form. Did they fill it out in the last 30 seconds? By 30 seconds, I mean 2 minutes. Everybody, maybe they mistyped their email. Michaela, can you send them the link? Thank you. So in any case, I want to switch the chat over from the general gab fest over to questions. So if you have questions that you would like us to answer, now granted, many of the questions that you have and that you put on your interest form, we are prepared for and are going to answer in the course of our presentation. But just because it's difficult for us to follow a high traffic chat as we're presenting, let's keep the chat focused on the content of the meeting. There will be a long time at the end for questions, and we'll get all of your questions answered. So let's start out with something fun.
Right?
I don't even have
Those are weird E.
So that was just the intro from the RoboLancers office parody. More on that later. So as I said, I'm Mr. Johnson. I'm the head coach of the RoboLancers, and I'm also a physics teacher. I'm so excited that you've all come to learn about our team and to be part of the fun. Even though this year is unusual in every way, we are still committed to learning, to competing, and having a great time together on the RoboLancers. So this afternoon, several of our student officers are here, and they will tell you all about our team, the opportunities available to you here, and what you need to do to join. Again, please hold your questions until the end. There will be an extended Q&A opportunity. So let me introduce to you the RoboLancers president, Riaz Mia.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. First off, like Johnson said, I just want to say how great it is to see you guys here, and just want to take an interest into robotics. And as a student who's been doing this for a while, it's really been worth the while to be part of robotics, and you will not regret it. Anyways, so the robotics club here at Central High School, it's part of a larger organization known as FIRST. FIRST is for the inspiration and recognition of science and technology. And it's basically a global organization that kind of facilitates the robotics competitions. So that way hundreds of thousands of kids can compete in each year globally. Now, as you can see on your screen, there are 3 main competitions, but as members of the RoboLancers, we compete in FIRST Tech Challenge and FIRST Robotics Competition. And now here's a short video on what FIRST is really about and your real first look into the world of robotics.
This isn't a robot. This is a roadmap that leads straight to engineering. This is a rock to shatter 1,000 glass ceilings. A rope to pull a generation up and out of poverty. A sledgehammer to break down cultural barriers. And a universal language spoken in every nation on Earth. And because of that, this is a compass that can help point the way to peace. But please, don't think this is just a robot. This is Glastonbury for technology. This is mission control for the next moonshot. This is the Rosetta Stone to help translate the future. This is the sport that will help us win tomorrow. This is the software to program ourselves to cure cancer, build a clean engine, or step foot on Mars. But this isn't a robot. It's a machine to build the people who will change the world.
So we have our first year students compete in the first tech challenge, or as we call FTC, and it's a way to get a grasp of the fundamental skills you'll need in robotics. After a year on either Gold or Crimson, our two FTC teams, you have a choice of joining the Wrench Toast team, which was recently created to give students another chance to further their technical skills in the FTC world. Or you could join the RoboLancers in the first robotics competition, or as we call it, FRC. And business works in conjunction with both these teams, and they specialize in the non-technical aspects such as funding and media. Now, by joining the RoboLancers, you can set yourself up for success in the future, as you can even earn scholarships for your dedication to FIRST and the team. FIRST is more than just programming or designing a robot. It's your real first opportunity as students to get your hands-on experience and apply what you learn in your classes in a fun, kind of creative, competitive way. Now you're gonna hear a little from Maria, our Wrench Toast captain.
Hi guys. So you guys may be wondering, who are the RoboLancers? So we're the largest club at Central and currently consist of 4 competitive teams. And although things may look a little different this virtual season, there's a lot to look forward to. It's just, you guys will learn the engineering process and just get a great experience working with an amazing team. And it's just a great opportunity to get involved at Central and get to know your fellow classmates and get to know some upperclassmen. If you want to get more of a sense of our team dynamic, please feel free to look at our YouTube channel where we have more interviews, parodies, and more. Next up is our Vice President, Ricky.
Good afternoon. My name is Ricky. I am the Vice President of the RoboLancers. This is my 4th year on the team, which makes me a senior. This year, you will have the opportunity to participate in multiple subgroups at once, which is a new addition to the team. We are categorized by 2 main categories, business and technical. Now, the team captains will go more in depth about our plans for the year as well as each program.
So here, let me lay out the 4 programs going on this year. We have got a programming, learn to program program called Coder Z. We have a learn to CAD program called Onshape. Our business team will be working on writing and on digital media production. And once we get back in person, we'll be competing with FRC. So we're going to start off with a quick peek at one of the Coder Z competitions that we'll be participating in.
Coder Z League Pro. Program a virtual robot to help it survive on different challenging worlds. Your students will collaborate and implement their creativity while they learn advanced programming concepts, physics, and more. All students need is a computer and a browser, at school or at home.
For more, here's our programming lead, Jenny Wen.
Coder Z is a self-paced course that starts off with block programming and then it transitions into Python. The course itself is similar to a game with over 70 missions that you can complete in. And there are 2 competitions that you can compete in. One is the Amazon competition that lasts from now to October, and the other one is the one that you just saw, which is the Coder Z League Pro that lasts from October to December. Anyone is welcome to join, and you do not need to know any prior knowledge about programming to enroll into this course. We have about 90 slots in total, so feel free to join if you are interested. Again, you do not need to know how to program to join. Next, we have Daniel, who's our FRC mechanical lead.
Hello. So Onshape is an in-browser CADing software. For those of you who don't know what CAD is, it stands for computer-aided design, and it's what we use to 3D model our robots. The second picture there is a rendered model of our robot from last year. You don't need to worry about having any prior knowledge about CAD. There will be webinars held on Onshape, and we'll also be there to help you along the way. Once you get the hang of things, we'll also do small CAD competitions to exercise what you learned. However, we know it can get tiresome being at your computer all day. So we also plan on doing DIY competitions where you can get away from your computer and use the stuff around your house to engineer things like a rubber band powered car. Next up is Angelina, our business team captain.
Hello. The business program we're planning for our virtual season will include writing, event planning, and working on media and graphic design. The video that began this presentation and the RoboLancers website are examples of projects the business subgroup has worked on. The virtual business program will teach you or help you improve skills that will be important during your time as a RoboLancer, no matter which subgroup you end up joining. No experience is necessary. We'll mentor you along the way. Speaking next about FDC is Maria.
So as Ria's mentioned before, in a normal season, newcomers would join our FTC or Crimson or FTC Gold team. And it's just a basic introduction to robotics and the engineering process and just overall learning how to be on an actual team. And it starts at the basics. You don't need any experience. You'll have assigned upperclassmen captains to help and mentor you and guide you along the way. Mechanical members will have the chance to design and build an actual robot, while programmers will be able to learn Java and actually program a robot. We also have a separate team called Wrench Toes for members who wish to continue with FTC instead of FRC after a year on the team. And this will all be available to you once we are back in person, so it's just something to look forward to. Next up is Ricky.
So while remote, there's a few different ways to communicate while we're not in person. For the last few years, announcements, update, and communication within the team have been facilitated through our own Discord server and Google Classroom page. Now Mr. Johnson will explain to you the expectations of the team.
There we are, unmuted. Our expectations for members really come down to two things. We expect that team members communicate, that you keep up with announcements made on Discord and Google Classroom, and that you are actively reaching out to build new friendships within the team. Second, we expect that you participate. We will have a whole team meeting each Friday at noon, right after your half day of classes. And depending on which of these activities, which of these programs you choose, there'll be additional weekly meetings with that smaller group. There'll also be activities that you're going to complete asynchronously during the week. Let's take a look at the schedule for the 3 different programs for new members. As I said, every Friday there's a whole team meeting that starts at noon on Friday. That includes announcements for the whole team, but it's mostly about social time for team members to chat and catch up. Then the 3 programs that you have to choose from each have a different meeting time. So the business team, for folks working on digital media production and writing, will meet Mondays from 3:15 to 4:15. Those of you who are interested in programming and join a Coder Z team, you'll meet on Thursdays from 3:15 to 4:45, where you'll learn to code and work on your virtual robotics competition. Those of you interested in CAD will meet Fridays at 1 o'clock until 2:30. That's right after the whole team meeting, where you'll learn 3D modeling and you'll do your at-home design and build challenges. Now, you'll notice between these 3 programs you have a choice here. You can do one of these, you can do 2 of these, you could do all 3 of these. As you're thinking about which you're interested in and which you want to sign up for, remember that in addition to the meeting times that are posted in the middle there, you should also budget 2 hours per week per program of asynchronous or independent time. That brings us to the end of our presentation, and we're going to take some time to answer your questions. So if you have questions that are still lingering after that presentation, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. Riaz is going to help me to sift through questions, and we will get you answers. So let's take a few minutes for Q&A and open up the chat and send us your questions. Is there a code for the classroom? Yes. So in a moment, I'm going to tell you what your next step is to join. In fact, I guess I can do that right now. So once you've decided that, yes, you want to give us a try, you're going to go to bit.ly/bealancer, where you will find our team application. And in that team application, you're going to give us your contact info, your demographic info. You're going to select which of those 3 programs or multiple of those 3 programs that you want to pursue. And there will also be the invite links to join the Google Classroom and the Discord.
One of the questions that came up was, what do you mean by writing when talking about the business program?
Sure. There's several different types of writing that the business team does. So you saw, we started out with that office parody. So there is script writing for videos. There is writing for social media and for the website. There is writing for to solicit sponsors for the team. There is writing for nominations for awards. There are several awards that require a written nomination or a written essay submission that that the business team will work on. Angelina, did I miss anything that they'd be writing?
None that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
Someone asked, how was your day?
Awesome.
Do we have to apply for these teams?
So we call it an application because we need you to fill out this form at bit.ly/bealancer to tell us what it is that you want to do. But it's not an application in that it's not competitive. We have enough space that all of you will be able to do whichever and as many of those 3 programs as you want to do.
For experienced programmers, is there any program which will fulfill their educational needs? For example, data structures and data science, open source contributing, etc.
Okay, so the CoderZ platform is promised to be low floor, high ceiling, meaning that people can start it without any prior knowledge, but high ceiling meaning that even folks who know what they're doing are going to continue to find challenge. If we are wrong about that, then we will find another place for you where you can get challenged and you can feel like you're learning something.
So if I was here last year, do I skip that process?
So that is a tricky question and is more person to person. So there are some folks, I think most of the folks who are here, essentially, folks who finished out last year already have a plan for this year that is maybe the same, maybe different as what we're presenting now for new members. I would say if you were a member last year but didn't finish out the year for whatever reason, feel free to reach out to me and we can figure something out on an individual basis.
Someone just asked, should we fill out the form now?
You are welcome to fill out the form now. It is live, yes.
When should we decide if we want to join the team? Is there a due date to apply by?
So we're going to begin meeting next week, or rather, for new members, we expect you to start meeting next week. We will allow people to join later, but it is much easier for you to join at the beginning. So if you're on the fence, I would much rather see you join today, start out with us next week, and then if a couple months go by and you decide it's not for you and you want to quit, like no hard feelings. But it's easier to do it that way than to wait until November and try to jump on a moving ship, moving train, whatever the idiom is.
On the form, it says that we will need to pay required fees. What will those be for?
So in an ordinary year, we charge dues, which would be $30 a person. We are not collecting any dues, and we are not collecting paper forms, and we we're holding off on all of the rest of that until we're back in person. So there's not a decision yet on whether we will be collecting fees at all, but that's dues, and it was $30 for the year last year. Nothing to do right now.
What speed will we be learning at? Is it fast paced or is it slower?
Coder Z and CAD, and in fact, all of these are more or less self-paced. So there's opportunity for people to move faster or to move slower based on what is comfortable for them.
Do you have a GitHub repo?
I don't know what repo is in this context. Yes, we use GitHub for storing robot code. I don't know what the repo part is, though.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
What sort of resources will members be working in, mostly video editing and social media?
So like what software we'd use for video editing is where I think that question is going.
Go
ahead.
So I've done a lot of video editing. Back when we were in school, I used a lot of Sony Vegas Pro. I use a little bit of Adobe Premiere. Yeah, those are pretty much the softwares I use.
But as far as while we're virtual, it's going to be what you already have access to, right? We don't have software to send home. Or do we?
We could figure that out.
Could we run
We'll just talk.
video editing on the fancy CAD laptops? They probably have the processing power for it.
It definitely depends on the video.
All right, so
we can talk about that later.
That's a real maybe. We'll figure that out. That's a good question.
Yeah. How similar are these programs to First Lego League? I put a smile on my face.
Right, that's awesome. So I'm guessing you were a First Lego League team member. They are, especially First Tech Challenge is very similar in that there's a new challenge each year and you build a robot to complete the challenge, and you also need to prepare a presentation for the judges. We have never done the Coder Z competition before. I know that there's a similar advancement structure in Coder Z, in that with the Coder Z Pro League, you can advance from your local competition onto a state championship and then a world championship. But we haven't seen it. But certainly First Tech Challenge and First Robotics Competition fit right in the First Lego League mold.
Can you do all three until you decide which one or more you want to be part of?
Yes.
If you decided not to join any of these programs now, can you join them when we get back to school in person?
Yes, but with the same caveat I gave before, it's much easier for folks. This is just looking back at past years. It's much easier for folks to join at the start of the year. A lot of times when people try to join mid-year, they feel a little bit left behind because the team has already begun work. So are you allowed to join mid-year? Absolutely. Joining at the beginning is better.
That's the end of the questions so far, unless anyone else has something to say. It can be anything. Okay.
Awesome. So let's just recap quickly. There are 3 programs, and you can choose 1 or 2 or 3 of them. They each have different synchronous meeting times. Business on Monday afternoon, Coder Z on Thursday afternoon, CAD on Friday afternoon. And as you're figuring out which you should do, add 2 hours per week per program of time that you're able to spend independently. In addition, the whole team is going to meet Fridays from 12 to 1. If you'd like to give us a try, head over to bit.ly/bealancer to fill out our team application. Also on there, you'll join the Google Classroom and the Discord. We'd love to see you at the all-team meeting tomorrow at noon, and you'll see the Zoom link for that meeting on both the Google Classroom and the Discord. So thank you all so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, you can always reach me through the Google Classroom or the Discord, or you could email me, coach@robolancers.com. Oh, a new question in here. On what platform do you want returning members who didn't finish last year to contact you on? Any of those are fine. In the Discord, does your name have to be your real name? Yes, please, so that we can figure out who you are. And then when we want to message you, it gets to you. So with that,
if I may add to
yes.
the name thing, your tag does not have to be your name. Your screen name in the server does. So you have like an @ that can be whatever you want. Well, maybe not whatever you want, but your screen name in the server does have to be your name.
My point is when I start typing in your name, it should come up. Yes, it's a nickname or a display name. You don't need this. Like, so many of you I know have Discord usernames already, Discord handles already. You don't need a new Discord account. Just stick with, just make the display name work. How do you join the specific meetings? For example, you chose Coder Z. You will see that all of the RoboLancers meetings happen on the same Zoom, not the one that you're on now, but the one that you will see when you join the Discord and the Google Classroom. Right? They happen at different times, but on the same Zoom link.
I just wanted to add on a little bit. Even if you're on the fence or you just want to learn more, get a feel for the team dynamic, I highly encourage you join tomorrow's meeting at 12. We can, the upperclassmen can talk to you about what it's been like, what robotics is about, any questions you have about school. We just want to we want you to experience it first before you kind of turn it away. So I just encourage you guys to check it out tomorrow, just even for an hour. What if we can't make it at 12?
So so if you're talking about just tomorrow, then you miss a meeting. That's fine. If it is, if it's an every week you can't make Friday at 12, that might be more difficult. But again, shoot me a private message and we'll figure out your situation.
I want to add on, I think this year we're allowed to be a little bit more flexible, so you guys should not worry too much.
All right, thank you everybody for joining us today. And I hope we will see most of you at our whole team meeting tomorrow.